Cassie Uscilowski.
Krista, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you. What's going on?
Well, some of my coworkers lately, they've just been like a little sensitive. It's kind of felt like you're like walking on eggshells around them.
Yeah.
I know, and it just makes for like kind of like an awkward / tense work environment.
Okay. So can I just have some examples of?
Sure.
Okay.
So there's this one particular coworker, and he's kind of hard to read at times. Like he has a very he has a dry sense of humor, but he's also like kind of like emotionless. Like it's hard to read his facial expressions. And so today, for example, I was in the middle of my class. I'm a teacher, teach 7th grade English. And so I was in the middle of teaching, and I have 2 special friends in this one class, and they were just running around, literally running. So I was trying to, contain them, deal with the situation to get them calmed down and like not, a safety hazard. And then the coworker walked in to ask me a question, and I kind of just, went over my shoulder, gave him a brief answer because I was still trying to deal with the kids that were running around. And the coworker took that as I was trying to be like short with him. So he proceeded to say fine and then kind of stormed out. So it's just like things like that.
Have you talked to him since that incident?
We chatted slightly, and I just told him like that I was sorry if it came off that I was being like brisk with him, but in that moment I was kind of dealing with something else, and I didn't have time to stop and chat with him full in depth, and he just kind of went, oh, okay, and that was the end of the conversation.
Have you talked to him about how that like personally makes you feel?
Not really. I just kind of also walked away after that because I was kind of annoyed because he kind of does this stuff a lot.
Okay, so this happens frequently.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm assuming you've worked with him all year now?
Yes, yeah.
In the same grade level. Okay, has it always been this way, or did it start off different? Like, did it just recently start?
I think it's kind of always been this way, just not at me. I know some other coworkers share the similar frustration, and have like described similar incidents with him acting this way. But to me personally, it started about like a month ago.
That's interesting that it like just
Mm-hmm.
started. Did anything like spark the start of it, or?
We had a minor argument, but then like we kind of like moved on from that. Like we talked about it and then we kind of moved on, but he's like is still acting this way even after we kind of talked it through, and I thought that we were good, but I guess to him we are not.
Okay. So it was like a month ago, you guys had some type of incident, and then since then he's been like very short with you?
Yeah.
And kind of like snippy, you said? Okay. And then, but you guys did talk about that.
We did talk about the one argument, yeah.
And you thought you were good.
I thought we were fine, yeah.
Do you know if he's someone who like tends to hold grudges?
Absolutely.
Okay. Do you know if anyone else has ever talked to him about that?
Like other coworkers?
Yeah, or I mean, I guess just anyone like who's in his life that might be feeling the same way.
I'm not sure about that, if anyone else has talked to him about this specifically, but I do know like from other coworkers, they've also like been a victim to this as well.
So for a work environment, what kind of work environment does that make then?
Kind of like more like walking on eggshells, like trying not to like upset him, even though like what I thought is not upsetting or what I'm not meaning to upset him, it still does sometimes. And so that kind of leaves it to be kind of tense because I never know like if I'll say something, but then he'll take it the wrong way. So it kind of does make it like almost that I don't even want to like interact with him because I don't want to inadvertently upset him.
Okay, so it's getting pretty bad then.
Yeah.
You don't even want to interact with him.
Yeah.
Because of how you never know how he's going to take something. Okay. So then, and you said other coworkers are feeling the same exact way. I wonder if that's ever been presented maybe towards like your guys' admin, like the head of your admin, just to have that discussion with him, because I mean, any work environment that's stressful and tense like that, nobody's gonna work to their fullest then. And especially do you feel like you're always having to think before you like do or say anything when you're around him?
Yeah.
And then how does that make you like feel personally then?
Just kind of like I have to always be like very cautious.
And it's like draining, I feel.
It is.
To have to, because especially as a teacher, you're probably thinking about everything you do and say all the time with the kids. So then when you're with the adults, it's kind of like your
relaxing time, but you still kind of have to be like on guard.
But then, that makes for very stressful
it does.
Work environment.
Indeed.
Okay, so what all have you tried to kind of alleviate the situation?
I mean, usually when he like gets upset about something that I didn't think would be upsetting, like today, like after that whole thing happened today at lunch, I did briefly just say like, I'm sorry if you were offended. I didn't mean to upset you. This was kind of like the situation. Like I was preoccupied dealing with these two kids. It was really crazy. And I just, just had to keep a brief response to go back to
the class movement.
Yeah, keep the class contained. And his responses are just like, oh, okay. And then he like kind of like doesn't offer any other like words. It's just kind of like, oh, okay.
Do you think he realizes how he's coming off sometimes?
I'm not sure. Maybe he doesn't, but it is, I don't know. I feel like when you try to have a conversation with him, he just kind of shuts down or like doesn't want to elaborate or maybe doesn't even, it feels like he doesn't even want to have the conversation because of his responses that he's giving back.
So after these situations, you have gone and talked to him?
Mm-hmm. I tried to, yeah.
And then he just kind of is still standoffish.
So standoffish and cold, like, okay. And then you're like, all right, well,
are you left confused then?
Yeah, because then I'm like, I don't know if you're angry or like if you don't care or if like it feels like I'm wasting your time. And, like I'm just trying to make sure you're good. So, yeah.
Yeah, that's definitely stressful. I wonder if he even realizes it, that he's like coming off that way. Because I don't think that's something that's not a response that people would. I feel like if he knew how you were feeling, he wouldn't want you to feel that way. You know what I mean? Like that's not someone's goal to make them feel bad about themselves or their day. But yeah, that's interesting. I don't know if there's something else going on with him. Do you know about his personal life at all?
From what I know a little bit about it, but from what I know, like he is like happily married and I know he doesn't particularly enjoy this job a lot. So, and I know that he's been looking into other job options out of education too, because he's a teacher. So I don't know if maybe it's, also because he just doesn't want to be here. So he is in like a bad attitude. But I know like his like personal relationships are good, but I think his like job situation isn't what he ideally would want.
Okay. Have you talked to him a lot about the job then, since it seems like personal life is great for him, but then job, he's not where he wants to be.
Yeah.
So you said he is applying to other places?
Yeah, he's applied to other schools, but then also like other careers in general. Yeah.
So that's probably taking a toll.
Yeah, and from what I don't believe that he's received any job offers, at least not to my knowledge.
Okay. So this is like crunch time, this like past month. So maybe that's why he's kind of been a little bit, because this past month, if he hasn't heard, he might be thinking like, oh, I'm stuck here again for another year,
Yeah. And he's kind of taking it out on other people.
Unfortunately. Have you talked to him recently about the job hunt?
We talked about it a little bit last week, and he usually just keeps the responses short, so I don't try to like pry and get more information because I don't want him, if he doesn't want to talk about it, I don't want to like push him to talk about it. But I'll ask him sometimes like, oh, how's it going? Or have you heard back from any other schools or any other opportunities? And he's usually like, no, not yet. But I'm like still applying is usually his like response. So,
okay. So I'm sure that is probably something that's on his mind and really bothering him. So when he's kind of aggressive and standoffish towards you, I don't think that it would be towards you because you've been a coworker and a support for him this whole year. It's probably just the stress. And I know that's hard to, it's easier to say, like, don't think it's towards you, it's just the stress.